The movie opens late at night with a police officer named Brandt, feeling deeply bored and restless. Unable to sleep, he steps outside and comes across three men vandalizing a car. Without saying much, Brandt calmly approaches them. Mistaking his relaxed attitude for weakness, the three men attack him at once. Brandt swiftly takes all of them down, then coldly warns them that next time they should learn to tell the difference between an ordinary man and a trained fighter. The following day, Brandt is summoned by his superiors because of his violent behavior. They remind him that he previously knocked a teenager unconscious in a bar, and now has left three more men badly beaten. He is warned that if this happens again, he will be expelled from the police force. Instead of backing down, Brandt openly challenges them. He insists that his methods are the right way to deliver justice and even threatens to do far worse if he is ever fired. After leaving the office, Brandt runs into Fowles, a colleague who failed during police training. Brandt reassures him, saying everyone fails at some point, especially since Fowles is struggling through recovery from addiction. He advises him to relax, and shortly after, Fowles is called away by another officer to grab drinks at the cafeteria. Later, Brandt's superior sarcastically mentions the media articles that have been damaging Brandt's reputation. Brandt reacts with indifference, making it clear that public opinion means nothing to him. Not long after, Brandt receives tragic news. The wife of his colleague has passed away. Brandt attends the funeral to pay his respects and stays by Robert's side until the burial is over. Afterward, the two go to a herbal bar and drink heavily throughout the night. Elsewhere in the city, a female police officer working the night shift is suddenly shot dead by a hooded figure. The killer escapes immediately. The case shocks the public, especially when it is revealed that the victim was an old friend from police academy days. Disturbed by the circumstances, Brandt begins investigating the case. The next day, the police department welcomes a new officer. On his very first day, he becomes the target of ridicule due to rumors about his sexual orientation. During an official meeting, the police chief introduces Nash as the new inspector, replacing Robert, who is taking an extended leave. The chief hopes Nash can repair the image of the police force, which has been badly damaged by rising crime. Meanwhile, Fowles is approached by his younger brother Metal, who is in serious trouble after his gang injures someone. Metal begs Fowles, who is a police officer, to protect him from the law. Reluctantly, Fowles agrees, but only if Metal leaves the gang and turns his life around. The next day, Fowles goes to Brandt for help, but Brandt, overwhelmed with his own work, advises him to seek help elsewhere. At the same time, a journalist named Dunlop receives a phone call from a mysterious man claiming to be the cop killer. The caller demands a large sum of money in exchange for revealing his identity and making Dunlop famous. In reality, Dunlop himself is the true mastermind behind the murders. Later that same day, Dunlop murders another police officer during a routine traffic stop. Around this time, Nash meets Brandt at a roadside diner to discuss Brandt's damaged reputation. Nash urges him to be more open and to change his behavior. However, Brandt is only interested in talking about the serial killer targeting police officers. Nash tries to steer the conversation back to discipline, but Brandt mocks him for following him all the way to the restroom just to observe his personal habits, then walks away. In the end, each of them chooses to pursue the case in their own way. Brandt tracks down an informant named Radner, who is rumored to know the identity of the cop killer. Before talking, Radner demands money, claiming the information is extremely valuable. Losing patience, Brandt brutally squeezes him until he screams in pain. Terrified, Radner finally confesses that a man named Barry once burned a dog alive. He urges Brandt to check YouTube, insisting that Barry is the killer Brandt is looking for. Without hesitation, Brandt heads straight to Barry's place. Meanwhile, Nash continues struggling to identify the killer through surveillance footage, as the murderer always keeps his face hidden and seems intimately familiar with the location of every camera. That night, while Nash is relaxing at home, Brandt suddenly appears at his door. Calm and unapologetic, he asks for a glass of water and sits down without explanation. When Nash asks why he is there, Brandt admits that he needs someone to talk to and feels unable to control himself. Nash believes Brandt is mentally exhausted. Nash then shares his own past, revealing that he once went through something similar. He talks about a pedophilia case he handled, involving a man who lured children into his car. Although Nash identified the suspect, he could not arrest him because the traumatized victims were unable to testify. At the station, Nash was even harassed by his colleagues, who mocked him by comparing him to a criminal. They went so far as to throw semen onto his locker. Consumed by rage and humiliation, Nash eventually tracked down the pedophile one night and nearly beat him to death with a baseball bat. After that incident, he was transferred and permanently removed from field duty. While Nash tells his story, Brandt falls asleep. Nash sighs and lets him rest. The next morning, Brandt wakes up confused and quickly insists that nothing happened between them the night before. Nash calmly assures him. They eat breakfast together and agree to work as partners to catch the cop killer. Brandt also admits that he already has a lead. Elsewhere, Robert slowly recovers from the loss of his wife and decides to return to work. However, he is informed that his position has been filled and that he is now restricted to administrative duties. Meanwhile, Brandt and Nash are officially assigned to work together. They visit Barry's apartment and thoroughly search the place but find nothing suspicious. Barry remains calm and even helps them look for evidence. When asked whether he burned a dog and uploaded the video to YouTube, Barry laughs and admits that the account is his, while still claiming to love animals. Nash presses him about the murdered officers. At that moment, Brandt realizes that Barry is the same man he once beat unconscious in a bar. Choosing not to act rashly, Brandt asks Nash to keep Barry under surveillance. After the detectives leave, Barry begins preparing to leave his apartment to find his next target. From a distance, Radner quietly watches his every move. Robert, unconcerned about his demotion, returns to his apartment. Unaware that Barry has targeted him, Robert answers a knock at the door from a man claiming to be a delivery worker. The moment the door opens, Barry draws his weapon and a brutal fight erupts. After missing his shot, Barry viciously beats Robert until his face is unrecognizable, then murders him. Barry calmly showers afterward, sets the apartment on fire and leaves the scene. In the parking lot, he stores his tools inside the trunk of a damaged car and drives away as if nothing happened. Unbeknownst to him, Radner has been following him and immediately inspects the evidence hidden in the car. Soon after, Dunlop receives another phone call from Barry. Barry admits that he is the killer and demands to be known by the name Blitz. After the call ends, Dunlop receives yet another call from Radner, who claims to know the killer's identity. However, Radner demands £50,000 before revealing the name. Elsewhere, Brandt and Nash investigate the evidence surrounding Robert's death. Unfortunately, all fingerprints were destroyed in the fire. Then Brandt remembers a crucial lead, a gym he used to frequent. He immediately requests the full list of members. Among them, only one name stands out: Barry. Meanwhile, Fowles meets Stokes, a man Brandt once mentioned at a roadside diner. He tries to negotiate about a case that is putting his brother Metal in danger. Stokes agrees surprisingly easily, but with one condition: Fowles must go on a date with him that very night. Elsewhere, Dunlop accepts Radner's deal. They meet and Radner shows him the evidence taken from the damaged car. He then asks Dunlop to verify the money first. As both men step away to count the cash, Barry suddenly appears and retrieves all the evidence. Radner goes into the restroom to count the money, while Dunlop waits at the cafe. Not long after, Barry enters the restroom and confronts Radner, demanding to know how he learned his name. Radner admits he heard it from Barry Petchop. Without hesitation, Barry drags him inside and brutally murders him. Radner's death unintentionally turns Dunlop into a witness. Brandt and Nash interrogate him and Dunlop claims he was only trying to uncover the real killer. However, the situation quickly spirals beyond his control. Elsewhere, after spending the night with Stokes, Fowles asks to return home. Unbeknownst to him, Blitz has been watching all along. Shortly after Fowles arrives home and approaches his door, Barry suddenly attacks him. Metal rushes in to save his brother, but becomes the victim instead. Barry murders him savagely, crushing his neck under his foot until it snaps. He then walks away, leaving the brothers behind. When the news reaches the police, C rushes to Fowles' home. Brandt reassures him that Fowles survived, but Metal did not. This time Blitz has crossed every possible line. Brandt is consumed by rage and vows to capture him at any cost. The next day, Brandt and Nash agree to release Barry's image to the media, officially naming him as the prime suspect in the murders of police officers. Units are immediately dispatched to hunt him down, believing he is hiding in a hotel. During the raid, Barry attempts to escape and even manages to knock out an officer. A violent chase follows, stretching all the way to the train tracks. Eventually, Brandt corners Barry, but before Brandt can strike, Barry calmly surrenders, demanding not to be beaten. During interrogation, Barry remains disturbingly relaxed, asking only for a pastry and his lawyer. Nash points out that Barry is extremely cunning. He has erased all physical evidence, including traces from Robert's murder, leaving the police without enough proof to charge him. Soon after, Brandt enters the interrogation room alone and pressures Barry into confessing. He warns that prison would be the safest place for him, because if Barry walks free, Brandt himself will take him down. Barry only laughs and mocks him, questioning whether Brandt's fellow officers are even worth protecting. Brandt coldly responds that he long ago forgot about the bar incident, implying that Barry is beneath his concern. That remark finally enrages Barry. Elsewhere, shattered by Metal's death, Fowles spirals back into darkness. He throws a drug-fueled party at his home until Brandt and C intervene. In panic and grief, Fowles breaks down and confesses the truth. Metal was not his biological brother, but the only person who truly cared for him during his recovery from addiction. To Fowles, Metal had become his real family, and losing him destroys what little stability he had left. He asks whether Barry will truly go to prison. Brandt promises that justice will be served. The next day, Barry is officially detained and charged with multiple murders of police officers. However, his lawyer soon proves that the evidence is insufficient and Barry is released. That same day, Robert's funeral is held. The entire police force is present, including Brandt. Unnoticed by anyone, Barry disguises himself as a police officer and blends into the crowd, waiting for his chance to strike. Before the ceremony ends, Brandt quietly leaves. Barry follows him from a distance. On the rooftop of a building, Barry finally confronts Brandt, aiming his gun and ordering him to lie down so he can shoot. But when Brandt turns around, it becomes clear that Barry's true target is Nash. Brandt immediately attacks Barry from behind, beating him without mercy. This time Nash does not stop him. Even with his face badly disfigured, Barry grins arrogantly, taunting Brandt and insisting that there is still no evidence to convict him. Without another word, Brandt ends everything with a single gunshot to Barry's head. Barry dies instantly. And with that, the story comes to an end.